let's come back home to Nigeria, where the Securities and Exchange Commission is moving to expand the curriculum of the Securities and Investment Management in Nigerian universities. A new 9-member committee has been set up to carry out the review and present its report to the Exchange Commission. Joining me live now on the show to discuss this is the chairman of the committee, Professor Uwaleke. He is the president of the Capital Market Academics of Nigeria and a professor of capital market at the National University in Kefi. Thank you very much for coming to our studios tonight, Professor. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Watson. My pleasure being on.
Congratulations on your appointment and the rest of your team to this very important assignment by the SEC. Why is the Commission looking to review the Securities and Investment Management curricula for Nigerian universities?
Yeah, thanks, Watson. Watson, if you look at our country today, the Nigerian economy, the size, the population, all the potentials that we have, what readily comes to mind, what readily becomes obvious is that we have not really been leveraging these potentials to rub off on our capital market. The size of our capital market today to GDP is low, less than 20%. The relative to that of South Africa, for example, where you have the market, equities market alone at over 300%, of GDP. When you look at all that, especially you also look at the issuer side, the number of companies on our markets today, talking about the membox, 155, 151, compare that to what you have in South Africa. So it is not too removed from the fact that the market literacy is low. Capital market literacy in particular is low. Because for you to have a vibrant capital market, for the capital market to function very well, you must have large number of buyers and sellers. So when you don't have large number of buyers, of course, it impedes on the smooth functioning of the market, and also tends to disrupt price discovery. If you look at our markets today, it's dominated by institutional investors. But for a diversified investment base, you also need to have a reasonable number of retail investors. Unfortunately, in Nigeria today, the retail investor base is shallow, compared relative to as I said, the size of the economy. So what the SEC has done is to ensure that capital market literacy is improved. And one way to do that, as the experience of other countries have shown, particularly Malaysia, is to have the curriculum of capital markets curriculum, well entrenched, not only at the level of the secondary schools, but also in the university system. So yeah, that's why this SEC is asking this team to review the Securities and Investment Management curriculum.
Yes, so Professor, you're Nigeria's first professor in the capital markets, and that's all one. How important, you're just talking about, touching on that, investment management education for students at the tertiary level of schooling in Nigeria. And so do you think what's your experience so far teaching at the universities, teaching capital market? Tell us a little bit about what you've seen over the past years in which you've made that a point of your endeavor to teach students in the classroom about investing, whether it's in bonds, stocks, derivatives, and what have you.
Yeah, thanks so much for that question. Now, from my experience in teaching universities across the country, both public universities, federal universities, state universities, and private universities, what I can tell you, from my vantage position, is that again the level of capital market awareness, literacy is low, and that's even talking about not just with respect to undergraduate students, but even at the level of postgraduate students. You walk into a class and you're asking students to simply, for example, tell you the difference between bonds and stocks, okay, and you find that that knowledge is not there. And when a student doesn't have that kind of knowledge, how do you expect that kind of person to play in the market? And that was why some years ago, a couple of us came together to register the Capital Market Academics of Nigeria, which, of course, is an umbrella body of researchers, academics in Nigeria, which also incorporates even those in the industry who have passion for research. And that's why you find today that association has even the vice president, as member of the Capital Market Academics of Nigeria. He's a fellow of that association. The Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister for Economy is also a member of that association. Of course, the VP is an economist. The same goes with even the DG-Sec, the CEO of the Nigerian Exchange, even the group CEO. So they're all there supporting what we are doing, in the university. And again, let me also mention here that Nasarawa State University, appears to be in the forefront of capital market education among tertiary institutions in Nigeria. We are the first to start the Securities and Investment Management department, a full-fledged department with full accreditation by the NUC. And we even took it a step further by also establishing the Institute of Capital Market Studies, where postgraduate programs are run. We are the first in Nigeria and indeed Africa to start the PhD program in money and capital markets. So all of this is with a view to promoting capital market research, capital market literacy in Nigeria. And I think that's something that deserves the support of all. But yes, again, speaking specifically on the curriculum we are asked to review. Yes, if you notice, the Securities and Investment Management Program is one of the.
Yes, I was about to go into that, Professor, because I was trying to what the details are of your assignment from the SEC. How do you intend to approach this assignment with the rest of your committee? What would it involve? What's the likely outcome of that exercise?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me quickly speak to it. But what is good, what's happening now is that the Securities and Exchange Commission has recognized the need to use experts, to do that, as opposed to what happened in the past when, a few people were assembled to do that. And then we noticed some loopholes in what was done. Now, if you look at the new, what is called the Core Curriculum and Minimum Academic Standards, the CCMAS, which is now being implemented in Nigerian universities, you'll find Securities and Investment Management Program under Admin and Management. Okay. Now you now find that the contents are shallow. A number of key aspects of the market are not there. For example, you wouldn't find capital market regulation mentioned. You wouldn't find commodities, trading ecosystem mentioned. You wouldn't find non-interest capital market. You wouldn't find sustainable, finance. So these are critical aspects of the capital market that have been excluded, from that syllabus. And that's why we think there's need to review it, incorporate these programs. Even the cryptocurrency, introduction to cryptocurrency, which is offered at the 200 level that we'll find there, again, the contents are very shallow. Okay, the real aspects of cryptocurrency, again, are missing. Talking about wallets, talking about mining, talking about transactions, even talking about how to prevent network attacks, you don't find them there. So our terms of reference are very clear to review that curriculum with a view to, of course, expanding the scope and ensuring that all aspects of the capital market, are reflected. Then you also have to if you like, reinforce some of the ones that are also there in terms of enriching their contents, and then ultimately to come up with a standard, up-to-date curriculum that will be applicable not only in Nigerian universities but also in tertiary universities in Nigeria. And let me also say that I had the privilege of leading the team of consultants that Securities and Exchange Commission set up, some years ago. That was in 2018 or so, even before I joined the SEC as a chief economist. I had led a team at that time that also developed facilitated content workshops, for the curriculum that we now have ready to be used in secondary schools. That was in conjunction with the Nigerian Education Research and Development Council. So we have been on this for long, and I want to believe that once we start implementing this, then the Capital Market Master Plan, which, of course, all of this is meant to support, we can see the light of day in terms of the targets that are spelled out there. If you of course, noticed, the Capital Market Master Plan, because of the importance of the capital market literacy, had to make that a major segment of that plan.
Yes.
Okay, the target was and still is to increase capital market literacy from 16%, as low as 16% at the time, to 41.5% by the year 2025, which is next year. So if you assess the performance of that plan now in terms of capital market literacy, you can see we are still, very far off, and that's because the steps that are being taken now, we are not taking,
much earlier. Yeah, I think, Professor Uwaleke, you've got a whole lot ahead of you. You've got 8 weeks with the rest of your team to submit a report to the SEC. So I'm sure we'll be touching base with you again when that report is ready. Hit the ground running. Professor Uwaleke, thank you so much of the Nasarawa State University and the president of the Capital Markets Academics of Nigeria. Thank you. We're grateful for your time, as always. Wish you all the best.